That's very nice of you to say, Broski Bear. I'll take a compliment. Happy Wednesday to everybody. It's September the 6th, 11 a.m. exactly. The temperature outside is 98 degrees. Uh-oh, Volusia wants to join the support group. Who brought the coffee and donuts for the support group? Oh, man, I can't wait to hear what he has to say about this. Here, I'll start the support group, Volusia, all right? The sky is falling, the world is ending. Clemson's never winning another football game in the rest of history. Dabo's done. He's cooked. Cade Klubnik is a bust. What else? Oh, yeah. They're losing to Florida State, Notre Dame, North Carolina, South Carolina. Be lucky to make a bowl game. What else? Am I missing anything? Yeah, 4-8. Yeah, 4-8. Oh yeah, Garrett Riley forgot how he's a fraud. Forgot how to coach football. Oh yeah, Miami too. Yeah, how did I? Shit. Yeah, Miami too. Look, as a fan, I hate losing. I mean, there's no such thing as a fan that likes losing, I don't think. Unless maybe you are trying to run your coach off, so you want him to fail. I mean, I guess that's a thing. But oddly enough, after that embarrassing loss on Monday night, I'm feeling really good. Not necessarily optimistic, just really good. Well, I'm feeling really good about the season for college football as a whole. Not necessarily for Clemson. That's still to be determined. But I'm having a lot of fun. Yeah, I heard that too. They might lose to Charleston Southern. Yeah. Oh yeah, FAU's going to drag them up and down the field too. Oh yeah, not using the transfer portal. Yeah, not using the transfer portal. I don't know what I see a lot of morons on the internet typing about NIL, which Clemson is highly involved with, so I don't have any idea where that's coming from. Dabo would be terrible in the NFL, Luke. Are you kidding me? He is the definition of a guy who should never leave college. Can we skip the news? Yeah, we're not going to do news today. I'm almost ready here. Yeah, we're not going to do news today anyway. I'm going to look at the week 2 slate of games. I might go in and pull up some of the comments from that from my State of the Fan Address video. There's some pretty funny comments in there. I'll read a few of those, and then I'll bring you guys on, and we can have a pity party together. And I saw Tim said he's deciding whether or not he should join the StreamYard. Tim is a Clemson fan and grad, and the answer is yes, you should. I just decided for you, Tim. It's an easy decision. Yeah, lots of low-level trolling in the comments. Look, if people are watching the video and commenting, that's all I care about. A lot of low-level trolling in there. A lot of just people saying really dumb shit, and then also some very valid points, both from Clemson fans and other fan bases in there. So a good mix of just about everything. Of course, a lot of insulting me. Yeah, that kind of thing. All right, what are we doing? I don't know, what are we doing? Is there a show going on? I think there's a show about to happen. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. I'm your host, PigskinPeete. How's everybody doing this morning? I'm doing great. Thank you for asking. I finally got more than my average 5 hours of sleep. I think I got maybe 6 last night, so I'm feeling fresh as a freaking daisy over here. We had a great ACC show last night. If you guys missed it, you make sure you go check it out on your leisure time and whatnot. So we got the week 2 slate coming up. Is there a game tomorrow night? I feel like I just pulled up the schedule for week 2, and I didn't see a Thursday night game on there. But or maybe it's a Friday. It's Friday night, I think. But having said that, we got through week 0. We got through week 1 with the members only and the Patreon members private streams. And I let you guys know that starting in week 2, I was going to leave it completely up to the members and the channel members and the Patreon members which game I'm going to do a members only stream for. So if you're a Patreon member, I put a poll up 10 or 15 minutes ago on Patreon. I'm going to let you guys choose from 3 different time slots. All right. And then obviously majority wins. The noon games, the 3:30 games, and the night games, the 7:30, 8 o'clock time slot. So it's up to you. Majority wins. I don't care. Typically, on any given week, I'm going to obviously stream publicly during a Clemson game. This week they're playing Charleston Southern. I just don't care. I'm going to watch it, whether I'm not streaming or doing a private stream or a public stream at that time slot. It's at a weird time too. It's at like 2:15 in the afternoon, but I have multiple TVs, so it doesn't matter. But I'm not going to plan my streaming around Clemson this week, right? I will probably for the remainder of the season, just not this week. So it's up to you guys. There's also a poll up on the community page If you're a member, you'll get a notification, or if you're a member, you'll see it when you go to my community page. So vote on there. And I guess I'll close the voting down, before Friday, tomorrow night. So you'll have plenty of time to put your vote in. But don't forget, I don't want to hear any complaining if you don't get the time slot you want. Anyway, looking forward to it. Let's see who's in the chat here. Then what we'll do is we'll pull up the week 2 schedule, and we'll look at what the noon games are, what the 3:30 games are, and what the night games are, and maybe that might help you make your decision. And also, maybe more importantly, if you're not a channel member or a Patreon member, you can become one very easily. There's a link to both of those things in the description of the video. We have a lot of fun. All of the people that joined those private streams, is what I call them, can attest to how much fun and debauchery we have on there. And also, even if you hate me, a lot of people hate watch the channel, which is fine. All the more reason to come in there and troll the shit out of me. I'll be much more likely to see and read your comment in the private stream than I will in a public stream. So, trolls welcome as well. Let's see who's in here. And of course, I appreciate all of the Patreon members and the channel members. You guys are actually what allow me to keep the shows rolling. So, Alec Kazam is here. Jay Shipes, Matt Dummett, Slim Shady Canes, Jeremy Garrettson, Scooter, Broski Bear, Luke the Tar Heel. When did he change it to Luke the Tar Heel? I feel like everybody knows Luke's a Tar Heel, but I guess he felt the need to let everybody know who doesn't know that he's a Tar Heel, I don't know, I have to ask him. Volusia is a tater man living in a foreign land. China, as it were. Chunky D33. Third and Nate, Slim Shady Canes. Dylan Mullins. Tim Russell's in the house. The Nature Boy. Yes. Dalton from T-Town. Sports Talk 101. Rick Sanchez. Week 4 games. Well, it's only week 2, sir. He says week 4 games fire. I don't disagree, but I'm looking at this week, not week 4. And by the way, there are also some fire games in week 2. Cousin Casey. Is there one Thursday game, maybe Louisville? I don't know. I didn't see that when I pulled it up. You know, we'll look in a second. Sea-Dog is in the house. One half of the hosts of the ACC show. What's up, buddy? Rick says, I'm looking ahead past these scrub games. Oh, shout out to Sir UGA. I don't know if he's in here or not. He sent me this. Now, I don't know why he sent me this. This meme here of Kirby Smart says a lot of our games will be played on Friday night since we're mostly playing high schools. I guess that's funny because they are playing mostly high schools. But do they actually have Friday night games? I'm asking. I don't because I don't know. And is there any Georgia fans in here that can confirm or deny that Georgia is playing Friday night games? Because I just don't know. No, you don't. Oh, that it would be. It would see. This meme would be funnier if you actually did have some Friday night games. But anyway, still funny. Still funny. Haha. All right, let's look at this. Let's look at the slate here. So now all I did was obviously just Google week 2 college football schedule, and this is what came up. And it's all these games start on Saturday. I don't know. I know there's a game on Friday for sure. I can't remember who it is. So, anyway, I'm not streaming. I mean, I'm doing a call-in show on Friday anyway, so I won't be doing a live stream for that anyway. But all right, so here we go. Here's some of the noon games. Delaware and Penn State, not interesting at all. Of course, Penn State ranked number 7 in the latest AP poll. Number 10 on Notre Dame on the road at NC State. Well, it's interesting to me just because of Notre Dame and my hate for NC State. And I've actually seen some people consider this as some sort of a game that Notre Dame could trip up on the road at NC State. I don't think NC State's very good this year. I mean, as much as I hate NC State, they've had some pretty decent squads, but it's like they're on like a 3-year cycle or something. You know, it's like every 3 years or so they have a 9 or 10 win type team. I don't think they're that this year. I don't think this game will be particularly close in the second half. But hey, look. What do I know? I picked Clemson to beat Duke. I'm stupid. So that's an interesting one. Utah at Baylor. Of course, Baylor, heartbreaking loss week 1. Poor Baylor, man. He's running for Z Hills. But, of course, that's all eyes will be on Utah. They're still many people's favorite to win the Pac-12. They're a very good team. Troy at Kansas State. I guess that could be interesting. What we got here? What happened? Oh, that happened. Okay, another noon game. A game that everybody will be watching. Nebraska at Colorado. Colorado goes from unranked to number 22 after their big win. Close win, but big win on the road at TCU this past week. Can they repeat what they looked like last week? I don't know. Now, that is an interesting game for a lot of different reasons, but that's also a new game. So, look, man, there's Youngstown State and Ohio State. And Ball State at Georgia. So that's the noon games there. So there's a few good ones there. Nebraska, Colorado, Notre Dame, NC State, and Nebraska, Colorado. Moving on to the 2:15 time slot. There's only one team it's kicking off at 2:15 for no reason at all, and that team is Clemson. Their first home game. Against the almighty Charleston Southern Buccaneers, which is only about, 6 or 7 miles from my house. That's right. Nobody cares about that game. Or do they? I don't know. Maybe they do. Mississippi at Tulane. This is a very good one at 3:30. Mississippi ranked 20 and Tulane ranked 24. Will Tulane upset Mississippi? Would it even be considered an upset? Did you guys see I think it was a Lane Kiffin comment, talking about, the 9-game SEC schedule. He's considering Tulane to be an SEC caliber team. Now, is that a little bit of a stretch? I think it was Lane that said that. It was either Lane that said that, or it was, I might be wrong about that. It might have been some football analyst that was saying that. I don't know, but Tulane, very good team, right? I don't know if I'd be saying. I mean, look, are they better than Vanderbilt? Yeah. Are they better than probably Missouri? Yeah. Are they better than South Carolina? Probably. Are they better than Florida this year? Probably. But you can go through every single conference and take the bottom teams and compare them to Tulane, and they're better than a lot of conference Power 5 teams at the bottom. So that's what I'm getting at there. Anyway, that should be an interesting game there. UNLV at Michigan, not very interesting. Speaking of comments on my video yesterday, some angry Michigan fan was in there saying, you've been talking all your shit about Michigan, Clemson stuff. When did I talk shit about Michigan? I must have missed that. Sometimes I feel like people just imagine things that I say or don't say. Is he mad because I said I thought Ohio State was going to beat Michigan this year? Maybe that's it. I don't really understand what that was about. I think Michigan is a playoff caliber team. That just happens to play in a conference where there's two other playoff caliber teams, Ohio State and Penn State. So it lessens their chances of making the playoffs. I didn't say they couldn't make the playoffs. Look, at the very worst, they're going to make a New Year's Six bowl game. Is that talking shit about Michigan? I don't know. It's not in my mind. I guess it is in his. Yeah, I guess anything short of saying Michigan's going 15-0 is talking shit about them or something. I don't know. Texas A&M, this is a big one. This is what I'm really looking forward to. Texas A&M at Miami. Hell of a game last year. Miami looked really good against Miami of Ohio. I don't really know what to take from that, honestly. For some reason, there was a lot of hype around that game, mainly just because of the players yapping back and forth, and also like the college football world just wondering if Miami's going to go out there and do Miami type things and fall on their face and lose to a lesser opponent, which has been known to happen a lot recently. But anyway, they went out there and dominated the game, right? Was it 28-3 or whatever it was? Texas A&M did the same in their opener. Dominated a lesser opponent. But another ACC-SEC matchup. So a lot of people will be watching this. I'm really interested in watching that one. Tulsa and Washington, not so interested in that. Honestly, sorry, Pac-12 people, or Pac-3 people. Austin Peay at Tennessee. Don't care. App State at North Carolina. Will North Carolina get revenge on the almighty App State? I don't know. We'll find out. App State after Clemson's performance. Not App State. Freudian slip there. North Carolina after Clemson's performance on Monday night is moving up as one of the favorites to win the ACC along with Florida State. Clemson is now out of that conversation in many people's minds. So can the Tar Heels get their revenge on their nemesis rival, the App State Mountaineers, at home? I think that they can. App State actually lost a good bit of their great players from last year to this year. But anyway, that's one we watch, and that's a weird kickoff time too. What's with the 5:15 kickoff time? What channel is that on? A lot of weird kickoff times this week. Clemson at 2:15, North Carolina at 5:15. Tennessee at 5, right? Lafayette at Duke. Well, Duke, somebody said last night on the ACC show that Duke, after that big win against Clemson, might have a hangover. Man, just stop it. I mean, is it normal for a team to have like a big win like that against the top 10 team? Look, that's a big win for Duke. I don't care what you think about Clemson. It's just a big win for Duke. I mean, how many years has it been since they beat Clemson? A long, long time. How many years has it been since they beat a top 10 team? A long, long time. They did it on national television on a holiday, prime time, and the entire country watching. So, yeah, was it a big win? And can they have maybe a little bit of an emotional hangover from that? Maybe. But they're not losing to Lafayette. So just keep that in mind. But, of course, I said they wouldn't beat Clemson either, so I might be wrong. SMU and Oklahoma. Will Oklahoma score? Will they score 63 this time or maybe 65? I'm not quite sure. Oregon and Texas Tech. Texas Tech went on the road and lost to Wyoming. Boy, a lot of people are wrong about Texas Tech. I never really jumped on that Texas Tech train like everybody else did. But boy, what a bad loss that was. No, look, it wasn't like they went on, first of all, they played in Wyoming. It's one of those, this is one of those situations where you have a Power 5 team that goes on the road and plays a Group of 5 team, which I think is stupid. But anyway, nonetheless, they did. And it's not like they got blown out, right? I mean, that game went to overtime. So can they bounce back? Is Oregon for real? I'm interested to see what happens in this game. Now, we're on, what is this? Yeah, this is now the 7 o'clock spot. So now we're on to the night games. Texas and Alabama. Is this the biggest game of the week? It's got to be, right? I would say Texas A&M and Miami, and then Texas and Alabama. The clear 2 biggest games of the week, right? So can Texas get their revenge on the Tide. This game that was a home and home was in Texas last year. This year it's in Tuscaloosa. That was really one of the best games at the beginning of the season last year. Texas, in my opinion, handed that game to Alabama. Alabama ultimately won the game, but that was a very exciting game. That would be if that would be a big deal if Texas won that game. We'll see. Slim Shady Canes with the 305 super chat. I see what you did there. Duke's last 2 top 10 wins, Clemson in 89 and 23. Wow, that's a hell of a stat there. So wow, 1989. That's a pretty long drought there. Grambling State at LSU. I don't know. Can LSU bounce back and beat Grambling State? It's gonna be a tough game for the old Tigers down there in the Bayou. You know what I mean?
Look down in the Bayou.
Man, Brian Kelly. No, that game won't be close. LSU's a good team. Wisconsin at Washington State. Will former Clemson running back transfer Chez Malusi have another 150-yard day against Washington State? I don't know. We'll see. We were looking at the highlights and with Mrs. Peete on TV, and they were showing highlights of Chez Malusi breaking off these big runs, and she goes, "Why do we let him transfer?" I said, "Well, first of all, you don't let somebody transfer. It's up to them if they want to transfer. It's not a prison, you know." And I said, second of all, I mean, unfortunately, when he was recruited at Clemson and came to Clemson, he was sitting behind Travis Etienne. So I don't blame the guy at all for transferring. And I'm glad to see him doing well at Wisconsin, too. So Wisconsin's got a couple of elite backs. Southern Miss at a doggone top against Florida State. That game will not be close. Although if Florida State were to somehow struggle in that game, it would be hilarious. But I don't see that happening. UC Davis and Oregon State. Can the ukulele put on another show? I think he will against something called UC Davis. That's right. I think that he will. Stanford and USC. This is an ACC versus Big Ten matchup of the week. Oh, man. Where's the Stanford? You know what? Maybe, I've been poo-pooing the idea of Stanford and Cal and SMU joining the ACC. But you know what? We had a Stanford man in the chat last night on the ACC show. Look, maybe I'm rethinking this thing. Anything that brings people from the West Coast to the Pigskin Pete show, we have some West Coast people in here. Right? We got several Oregon fans, Southern Cal fans, right? But anything that brings these West Coasters over to the Pigskin Pete show is A-OK and all right with your boy. So welcome the trees. Welcome trees to the family. And actually, I've been lumping those 3 teams in together because they're all joining together. But Stanford is one that really doesn't bother me. Look, at least they have a history of having some really good football programs recently. All right, they're not a dumpster juice like Cal and SMU. So maybe I shouldn't lump them all together like that. So there you have it. Yeah, I'm a tree hugger now. Yeah. All right, let's see if there's any good comments here. Then I'll open up the StreamYard soon here. I won't do this for long. This is just some of the comments. What did we? How many were there? There's a few hundred. I know that. So I'm not reading every comment. A few hundred. So these are in the order that they the most recent to the oldest. That's the way that the YouTube lists them. This is from the State of the Fan Address video. So this one was 37 minutes ago, apparently. I didn't see this one yet. I love excuse makers. This will not be their only loss. Just wait until Florida State gets a hold. Sorry, someone's calling me. I'm doing a show. Stop calling me. Just wait until FSU gets a hold of that butt. This is a very common type thing. Excuse makers. A very common one is crying, right? God forbid somebody that bases their entire YouTube channel off of college football makes a video expressing their opinion about a football game. That's literally what I'm doing here. Also, they only hear part of, they have selective hearing, right? A lot of people. He missed the part where I said Duke was a better team, had a better quarterback, and a better defense, and deserved to win the game. Is that making excuses? Me pointing out what happened in the game is not making excuses. It's just pointing out what happened in the game. This one actually is pretty funny. Let's all go cry at the paw. Yeah. Cry at the paw. Lester A. Calizer 9891. Lester's been around the channel for a long time. He comments on virtually every video that I upload. I don't ever see him in the I don't ever see him in the chat for the live shows, but he only has one. Every single video I upload, no matter what it is, he leaves the same comment. He's obsessed with my tan or my lack thereof tan, which is kind of weird. So he says, one good thing I can see is that Peete is looking more tan, like Brady Quinn. Most of the comments that he leaves is telling me that I need a tan. So I guess it's good to see he's acknowledging all the sun that I've been getting over the summer. Thank you, Lester. This is another very common type of comment that you see. A lot of people apologizing or saying they're sorry. I'm sorry, Pete. I'm sorry. I guess I appreciate it. I don't know what you're sorry for. I mean, I'm fine. I mean, my dog didn't die, right? Wife didn't leave me yet. I'm generally healthy. I don't know why people are apologizing to me. But thank you, I guess. Johnny Red. Alabama fan. This was about turnovers. I was at Ole Miss versus Bama in 2015. We dominated all stats. We had 5 turnovers, lost, but won the Natty. It happens. The ship is not sunk. Protect the ball. So I agree with half of what he said, or most of what he said. The ship is not sunk. The turnovers were the difference in the game. But I don't know about we need to pump the brakes on the Natty talk. Look, after what I saw on Monday night, Clemson is not a national championship caliber team this year. They're just not. They might be able to pull it together and make a run for the ACC still somehow. That's really the ceiling for them right now. I'd be very pleased if they were able to somehow still be in the conversation for the conference at the end of the year. National championship is just ridiculous, but. Gutaric is what this person calls themselves. Shipley can play, but he's mid.
Congratulations! You tried and you failed miserably. The forecast for today is partly stupid with 100% chance of dumbass.
There isn't a football team in the entire country where Shipley would not be a starter. Sorry. He's a 5-star recruit that is living up to the hype. Cole Turner is not a weapon. I agree with him there. Tristan Lay is a liability. I agree with him there. Parker is better than Maskell. I agree with him there. Look, but there's a lot of players that play the same position that are better than the other player. I don't understand. Yeah, Parker is a true freshman, and Maskell is a veteran, and Parker looks better than Maskell. Great. So Well, let's see. I mean, that was his first game. I mean, so let's see if he ends up throughout the season working his way into getting more playing time than Mascal. And is it a bad thing that Parker's really good? No. Good thing. Unfortunately, Cade might not be it. That's an open statement there. Might not, might be. We don't know. Too many cats, not enough dogs. Mr. Johnny Blaze. I like that name. From a cane to a tiger, you can have the stats, but it's the plays that changes the game at crucial moments that leads to points. It's what matters. That's almost verbatim what I said in the video. You look, Clemson's. If you didn't look at the score, if I just put down the stat sheet in front of you from the end of that game, and I didn't tell you what happened in the game, I didn't tell you who won, I didn't tell you the score. I said, just read these stats and tell me who you think won the game. Most people would say that the team that had the most rushing yards, the team that ran more plays, the team that had 11 more first downs, the team that had 12 more minutes of possession is the team that won the game, right? Because 99% of the time, that's what's the outcome is going to be based on that stat lineup. I like these too. So there's at least 5 teams out there that are claiming that they broke Clemson. So we need to have like an election, right? Ohio State fans claim they broke Clemson. Georgia fans claim they broke Clemson. LSU fans claim they broke Clemson. Tennessee fans now claim that they broke Clemson. Who else? Am I missing anybody? Oh, South Carolina. I guess that since they won last year, they broke Clemson. And I wouldn't be surprised if for some reason, if Clemson goes on to lose 3 or 4 games this season somehow, that Duke fans come out of the woodwork talking about Duke broke Clemson. So every time Clemson loses a football game, that's the team that broke Clemson. That's the trend that I'm seeing here. Got any other ones on here? Y'all aren't a legit playoff contender anymore. Dabo needs to use the portal. Yes. I think Clemson overlooked Duke a little bit. I don't think that they did. I would love to blame it on, they just, it was Duke. They overlooked them. But first game of the year, prime time. Look, they knew how good that quarterback is. They knew how good that defense is. So I don't buy into the fact that they overlooked them. Especially since what Dabo preaches, he's got whatever his thing, he's got this whole thing he does with the goals of the year, right? National championship is not one of the goals, right? It's win the opener. What is it? Win the opener, win the conference, win the state, which means beat South Carolina, and then win the closer, right? Not the national championship. So his 4 goals are win the opener, win the conference, win the state, win the closer. So Duke is literally one of the goals, one of the 4 goals that are listed. By definition, I don't think they got overlooked. Everyone needs to relax. Tigers beat themselves. I agree with that. Does it reflect poorly on the coaches and the players this week? Yes. Does it mean they will happen every week? No. This is on Dabo, 200%. The buck stops with him as the second highest paid coach in the country. His team was manhandled by Duke on national TV. Well, were they really, though? I mean, I just read the stats. They outgained them in virtually every category. So, were they really manhandled? So, I don't agree with that. In certain aspects, they were manhandled, but not all over the field. If this happens in Athens or Alabama, heads would roll as they should in Clemson. So this is another thing. People act like that ranked teams never lose to unranked teams. I mean, it happens every week in college football. Every week. If you want to fire a coach based on a ranked team losing to an unranked team every time it happens, you'd have 50 new head coaches just based on that stat alone every single season. And it's retarded. I don't trust Dabo to fix this. Fireball says, I respect you, man. You never get too rattled. Maybe you should be Clemson's quarterback. No, that's actually funny, too. But the comment that I never get rattled, I don't know about that. I've lost my mind plenty of times on this YouTube channel, believe me. This is a funny one. Maybe Clemson should leave the ACC for the Big Ten. That way they won't have to play Duke again. I didn't even read that one before. See, some of these are funny. Best 0-1 team in the country. Yeah, a lot of people are making comparisons to the Tennessee game, the bowl game last year. Clemson, racked up a bunch of yards but couldn't put the ball in the end zone. There are some similarities there. See, and here's another one. Ohio State broke Clemson. Ryan Day ended the Clemson dynasty. DJ was never the problem. Meanwhile, this guy I guarantee you, this guy spent the past 2 years typing anywhere he could type on the internet, going on every single YouTube channel, going all over Facebook and Instagram and Twitter for the past 2 years, typing how DJ was trash every fucking week. I guarantee it. There's a 100% chance. One game, DJ's not the problem. That's all it took to change his mind. So he was wrong. At least he's admitting he was wrong. That's the first step to recovery. Again, another Buckeye, sorry for breaking your program. How we broke Miami Hurricanes program. Everybody thinks they broke somebody else's program. It's like it's like an IQ test at this point when people say that. Like people that type that, you just know they're fucking retarded. You just know it. And it's the same type of person that says rent free all the time. They're living rent free in your head. Yeah. Anybody who says rent free is just, they're stupid. IQ test. Rent free. It was not a fluke. There was nothing bizarre about it. Duke was a better team. I literally said that Duke was a better team than Clemson in the fucking video. Verbatim. What I said was bizarre is outgaining, having more plays, more first downs, more time of possession than the other team, and only putting up 7 points. That's bizarre. The chances that happen, again, are almost 0%. So yes, it was a bizarre game. Sorry. Again, that's the definition of people that don't listen to what you say. Only Clemson fans would say it was a fluke. Here we go again. I said it was a fluky type game. I didn't say it was a fluke that they lost. It is fluky that you get down on the 1 yard line twice and fumble it. That is fluky. Sorry. How often does that happen? How often does that happen? How often is there a blocked field goal? On top of that, there's a blocked field goal and a missed kick from 28 yards on top of the two fumbles down inside the 5 yard line. Yes, that's fluky. Is Dabo going to do the maybe I should go coach somewhere else routine? That seems to happen every time the fans criticize him. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, he kind of already, so to his credit, in the post-game press conference, of course, he took full responsibility. And he kind of said a lot of the same things I did about, the stat sheet and all that and how bizarre it was. But he did say, a lot of people are going to write this team off. He didn't say anything about leaving, but he said, after this game, there's going to be a lot of people and fans that are going to write this team off, but they shouldn't. He said that kind of thing. NC State fan, maybe you guys just aren't good. Well, you'd know a lot about that, wouldn't you? Man, it's going to suck losing to a team that's not very good this year, isn't it? Wolfpack man. All right. Here we go. Blah, blah, blah. 28-7, they lost and looked terrible doing it. Right. I'll make sure next time that Clemson loses a game, I won't go on the internet and talk about it. I guess that'll please this guy. I agree with what some of this guy's saying. I mean, getting some wide receivers in the portal, get a real wide receivers coach. I agree with that. Real O-line coach. I agree with that. I don't think there's a single football fan of any team out there that is 100% happy with every single coach on their staff, though. So that's not abnormal, right? Like, if you ask a Miami fan, like, is there any position coaches that you just don't, you'd rather have somebody else? I guarantee they'd name one or two, and go down the list of every team, right? Because there's no such thing as a team that's completely dominant at every position. So whatever your sort of weakness is, or where you feel that your team is not living up to the expectation at that position group, chances are you're going to blame it on that position coach. Right. And you should. I mean, well, all right. That's enough of the, there's still like another couple hundred comments to read. I'm not going to go through all of them. All right, let's go ahead and, where am I at here? Let's go ahead and bring on some people. We got our man Slim Shady Canes. Baylor man's here for the support group meeting. And of course, our favorite tater man in a foreign land, Felicia Orange.
Hi, Baylor man.
Howdy.
Kumbaya,
I'm
dude.
the only undefeated person on this panel.
You are.
You are.
You're the only winner, Slim. We're all losers.
Hey, by the way, that Ohio State fan that claimed that he broke both of our programs, that's the same Ohio State fan that says reps have cost him 2 national titles.
Right. Of course it is. Literally, really, they're all the same. Even if it was a different person, it's the same. It's the same person.
But doesn't acknowledge a bad call, gave him one too.
Of course. What do you mean?
How dare me?
So okay, I'm willing to concede reluctantly that Ohio State indeed break Clemson's program, right? So does that mean that Michigan broke Ohio State's program?
Oh yeah.
Oh, all right, good. As long as we're playing on equal footing here.
Yeah.
Now I do have to call out a little bit of hypocritical talk and I'm not going to call any names in particular, but there is a stark difference I've noticed to where Clemson commits a bunch of turnovers against Duke and they shot themselves in the foot. Miami commits a bunch of turnovers against Duke and they're a trash football team.
Well, I think it was just because the fumbles were at the 1 yard line.
Bunch of turnovers at the end.
Yeah, no, I mean, I agree. But I think, there's a difference between committing 8 turnovers and then fumbling twice on the day. Yeah, I see what you're saying, but yeah.
Like, I don't think Clemson is trash. Don't get me wrong. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Well, we don't know yet if they're trash, honestly.
Well,
I mean, I don't
think Clemson is trash.
I don't either. Look, they played bad. It's a bad look to have a number 9 ranking in the country, have high expectations with the new OC and all that, and the amount of talent they have. This is the thing I was harping on last night, is that they're ranked 5th in the country in a composite as far as talent in the country overall. The highest blue chip ratio that Dabo Swinney's ever had at Clemson. So talent is not an issue. Yes. Is there some deficiencies at certain positions that are a liability? Absolutely. But I'm talking about the team overall, right? So talent is not the issue. Coaching is clearly the issue.
And that brings up a point I wanted to last night, but we got into the weeds of it and I forgot. Whether Clemson fans like it or not, Uncle Lou is 1,000% right about piss poor roster management.
Oh, yeah.
Because, and I get the whole argument that you had 86 scholarships, you had to swap a guy over to a baseball scholarship. I get it. Okay. But if you have guys that you can take off a scholarship because their daddy can pay for them to go to college, and you can get some better players in there, do it.
So I don't disagree with that. But here's the thing. 99% of what Uncle Lou said in his Your Season video about Clemson was completely spot and dead on. The only thing I disagree with him is his take on running players off. It's kind of hypocritical, isn't it? I have not heard him say one time that Will Muschamp needs to run off. I mean, Kirby Smart needs to run off Jackson Muschamp so that they can go out in the portal and get a wide receiver that's worth a shit, right?
Well, see, if you notice what Georgia does, because I've heard Lou complain about this about several players over the years. Look, best kicker in the history of Georgia was a walk-on, never got a scholarship.
Yeah.
Yeah, he did actually. He did get a scholarship. But
no, there you go.
Rodrigo after the Notre Dame game.
Yeah, Rodrigo.
Finally, after 5 years of playing in college.
And I don't even know.
But to your point though, Slim, that's exactly like. Even though he's a good kicker, it's like we're making room for other people. So you can come here and be a walk-on and make it to the NFL, but we got this. I mean, that adds to your point.
But I mean, my overall point with the beginning of that, if you look back, because I remember Butch Davis, I thought was really smart for doing this. When Miami had a limited number of scholarships, he put guys like Santana Moss and James on track scholarships, and then had them walk on to the football team.
Yeah. I mean, look, of course, Dion just ran off 100 guys, but of course those weren't his guys. So it's apples and oranges, but yeah.
Yeah. I agree with the point about not running people off. That's shitty.
No, I don't think you should run people off. If you recruit them and give them a scholarship, then you should not run them off. Now, look, I do agree. Having the Sweeney boys on the team and the Herb Street boys in the past was just stupid. I mean, what are you doing?
Not on scholarship. They're not on scholarship, so who cares?
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, they weren't on scholarship.
I know Herb Street boys were preferred walk-ons. They weren't scholarship players, but I don't know. I think
any of them were taking up scholarship spots.
I don't think the Herb Street boys. I don't think the Herb Street boys were. I'm pretty sure by the end of their tenure, the last two Sweeney boys were on scholarship. I'm not 100% sure about that. I know that Tyler Venables is. Now, here's the other thing about the Venables. This is the other argument that I hear. Is the Venable boy still on the team? Yeah, the Venable boy is a legit player. He is a scholarship player because he's a good player. He's a starter for the team. He's not a charity case. Tyler Venables is a good player. And actually, they really missed him on Monday night. He's hurt.
No shit.
They could have used him.
I mean, I'm just making the argument there. If your daddy can pay for you to go to college, you can get another good player on the team. Do it. It's for the best of the team.
Agreed. That is, of course, correct.
Now, as much as I want to troll Clemson, because
Well, troll away. They deserve it. That's the thing, man.
No, but I'm gonna say this because I said this before the game. Colorado got beat by TCU last year, 35-14, and Colorado was 1-11. TCU barely beat, not barely, but you know what I mean, 35-14. So Garrett Riley's first game was not a 75-10 win. So that's all I'm saying is first game for Clemson, it kind of, you had a bigger game. It wasn't Colorado, a 1-11 Colorado team. So I think jumping the gun isn't the perfect way to explain that, but I do think it's going to take a few games. But once Garrett Riley gets rolling, I think it's going to be a completely different
did they call the game perfectly? Absolutely not. But did Garrett Riley fumble twice on the goal line? No. Did Garrett Riley get a blocked a field goal and miss a 28-yard field goal? No. So,
look, I think that nobody's blaming it.
Josh Gaddis last year.
Yeah, nobody's blaming it on Garrett Riley.
Well, there are people though. You're saying nobody is, but there are. But I mean, I understand. Look, there's a lot of stupid people in the world, so that's
I haven't seen that. And actually, you're right in that Garrett Riley, if you remember that TCU Colorado game last year, Colorado was winning that game for a while. So, I mean, it takes a little bit sometimes. Sure.
Well, and then the second dumbest thing I've got to call out, the second dumbest thing I heard I got to call out is Clemson's got all these problems. They may lose 3 or 4 games, but LSU is actually a good team.
Right.
That has to be the dumbest take I've heard on the internet this year.
Well, I tend to believe that LSU is a pretty good team. Now, are they were they worthy of the high ranking they had coming into the season? Probably not. I think they're a good team. I don't think they're a great team. Hell, I had them winning the West, so I think I was wrong about that. I mean, I guess technically they still could, but.
Yeah. So I got one question for you. Would Duke be a top 3 team in the SEC right now?
Yeah. So Duke would have beat Florida. Duke would have beat South Carolina. I don't know. They might have given LSU a run for the money. Who knows?
They'd have beat Vandy.
Yeah.
They'd have beat
look.
They'd have beat Arkansas. They'd have beat Mississippi State.
Here's the thing. It's you know what's funny to me is the 180 that people do. So I was trolling people for saying that for people picking Duke to beat Clemson, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's that I was trolling, they're like, well, Pete, you're just being a homer. Duke's a good team, right? They've got 17 returning starters. They've got an elite quarterback. Mike Elko's a really good coach. So then Clemson loses to Duke, and those same people.
Now it's the worst loss.
Yes, and the same people are going, you lost to fucking Duke. Duke sucks. Yeah. That's like you can't have it both ways.
Yeah.
If you can't have your cake and eat it, then neither can I.
Yeah.
This is another thing.
And another thing.
This is for Pete and for Volusia, because I just want y'all's opinion.
Okay.
I think when Riley got to TCU, just because you saw their offense compared to what you saw y'all's offense look like, I feel Dabo being a more established coach did not give Riley as much of the reins as TCU's coach did for his first game. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But only reason I say that is because I feel Cade Klubnik. I'm not saying he's better than Max Duggan, but I feel Cade Klubnik's a pretty good quarterback, and that offense was completely different.
Yeah.
Here's why I disagree with that, because Riley was with Sonny Dykes for 3 years at least. He was with Sonny Dykes at SMU and then went with him to TCU.
Right. Well, his point is that Dabo didn't give. He speculates, and that's what this is. But
Well,
Yeah.
so I saw. I don't know if you guys saw.
Dabo didn't give him the same amount of control that he would have had in his first year last year, which may or may not be the case.
I don't know. So here's the thing. I don't know if you guys. There was an interesting interview. I think it was yesterday on the Pat McAfee show. I just saw a clip of it. Somebody posted on Twitter with Kirk Herbstreit. They were talking about the Duke and Clemson game, and McAfee asked Herbstreit. He says, "Is this Riley's offense or is this Dabo's offense?" Right? Because Dabo said both before and after the game. When he was asked, is this about the Riley offense is the word that they used in the question. And he goes, well, this is Clemson's. It's always been Clemson's offense. This is a collaborative effort here. And so they said, is this, is Dabo not letting Riley do his thing? And Herbstreit said, no. He said, what he's trying to get across there is that there is no one person. Right. This is a Dabo-ism type thing. That there is he doesn't give credit to any one person on the team. It's a team thing. That's it. That's the kind of the point he was trying to get across there.
But he's also not going to throw anyone under the bus. He
right.
wasn't going to, after that bad showing, be like, oh yeah, this is his offense. Of course not. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I saw
that. By that is everyone has responsibility.
Yeah,
The
Dabo.
point I was making with Riley and Sonny Dykes was they had already been together for some years.
Oh yeah, I get that. Yeah,
and that's why they were able to. Exactly. That's why they were able to mesh right together when they got at TCU.
All I'm saying is I think that Duke does not have the best secondary in the world. And I didn't feel like Garrett Riley got a chance to light that secondary up. Not saying that Klubnik didn't make mistakes, but just from what I saw from TCU last year, it just seemed a lot more, I don't know, it just seemed like they tried to light up defenses a lot more. And it seemed like, Clemson tried to be more balanced.
Well, to Pete's point, too, you don't have that standout number one wide receiver.
Yeah, ding, ding, ding. You hit the nail on the head there.
So, TCU's wide receiving core is better than Clemson's?
Yes.
Well, they were last year. They had a first round draft. They had a first round draft pick. They had a first round draft pick caliber wide receiver. Clemson doesn't have that.
But were they that preseason or after the season? That's my thing.
I think it's the same. I think that our receivers might have more stars, but theirs are better. Also,
they also had a quarterback that was a Heisman finalist. I mean, Cade Klubnik is not that. Not right now.
They had a receiver who was a first-round draft pick. We don't have one of those.
But I think, too, that comes from development. I think that's the part that Clemson is
so here we go. That brings us to the next point. The people that are ready, and I heard a lot of people say this, like Klubnik ain't it. He's no good. He's a bust, blah, blah, blah. How in the hell do we know that after 2 games?
We don't.
And look.
I think you have a better picture of it than what you're letting on, though, because he did play in 10 games last year.
Yeah, and he played really good in most of those games. I'm looking at the 2 games that he started and played the entire game. No, he did not look good Monday night. There's no two ways about it. But the idea that after a 2-game sample size of starting that somebody's a bust and is no good and has no room to improve is, come on. And look, he may end up being a bust. I have no idea. I'm not ready to make that statement after 2 games. I'm just not.
I'm not saying he's a bust, but I'm saying we have a better picture of him than just saying that, well, he's played in 2 games, because we've seen him in more than that.
And some of it's good, right? Guys, look, I have a quick request. If this is the therapy session, I'd like to hold the plush toy for a minute and go on a very short rant and kind of let some things off my chest here. If you guys can give me the floor for just a minute.
The floor is yours, my friend.
I want to say a few things, and then when I'm done, you just take it wherever you want. All right?
Go for it.
So the first thing is just like different fans react to losses, especially embarrassing losses or big losses to rivals in different ways. And so I've heard a lot of stupid takes from different Clemson fans, and I think that's fine. It's one of the stages of grief, right? I think if you're not a Clemson fan, not you polite gentlemen, but like the people in the comment section, I don't give a fuck how you react to it. You can go fuck yourself. That's how I feel about that. All right, so this should not be the first point that I make, but I'm going to say it. This is why you do not play this game as the first game. But I was never saying I was afraid of Duke. Maybe I should have been. But not that the performance was acceptable, but this would be a totally different story if we had played Tennessee Martin or Mercer or Charleston Southern in the first game. Not that we'd have looked good, not that any of these issues would have been fixed, but it's better to learn in a win than in a loss. I don't believe that shit that like, oh, sometimes you need to lose to learn from it. Bullshit. Georgia almost lost to Missouri last year, and they learned from it and ended up blowing everybody else out, right? It's better to win and learn from it than lose and learn from it, especially since clearly the losses at the end of the last season didn't fix a goddamn thing, all right? Other than that, second thing is, of course, now everyone has a fucking opinion about Clemson, whether or not they know our team at all, whether they know their ass from a hole in the ground. And I don't have any fucking patience for these fucking idiots on these shows on TV that sound like NPCs from a video game trying to analyze this shit. Completely bullshit. The next thing is, the season actually isn't over. I don't think we're going to win the national championship. I have very little confidence in our ability to compete for the league championship, but it's not impossible. And we'll just have to see what happens a couple weeks from now. We're obviously going to get a couple of weeks to lick our wounds and see what happens. But actually, the negatives, do we have to use the portal? This is enough of this, dude. Like, if you think about the receiver situation, like, we just went a few years at receiver and quarterback where we just hit on every 5-star. And now we're missing on some. Be it a guy like Ladson who didn't pan out and transferred. Be it a guy like Ngata who just had injuries and was underwhelming. This happens, right? But we can't have fucking Cole Turner. All right, bless his heart and all that. But we can't have fucking Cole Turner as our wide receiver 3 if we're trying to compete on a national level. We're competing with an arm tie behind our back. And it's not just receivers. We don't have D-line depth. Trotter's not 100%. We kicked the backup linebacker off the team. One guy's hurt. Now we don't have any fucking linebackers left, right? Not every guy you recruit is going to pan out perfectly, especially if, to the next point, we have to overhaul our coaching staff. This, to me, is the biggest problem. We are poorly coached at so many positions. And it's going to start biting us in recruiting, because a great way to negatively recruit against a coaching staff and a team like ours is that our players are not ready to play. They don't live up to their billing. Our players, by the way, and I know you've noticed this, Pete, do not do well in the NFL by and large. Only studs like Higgins and Etienne and Trevor or whatever. But like most of our players, look at.
I don't know. I mean, there's a bunch of dominant defensive players in the league right now for sure, okay, especially defensive linemen.
We miss on a lot of players. A lot of our guys in the NFL are just not developed the way they should be. We need a big boy coaching staff. We got to get rid of that. I love some of these guys, and I think some of them should probably stick around, but we have to completely overhaul the coaching staff. Look at the fucking special teams thing. We get a kick blocked and another one pretty much blocked because Denhoff can't fucking make a block on special teams. They overload one side, and he has no idea what to do. This is like Tommy Bowden-esque shit. It reminded me of that fucking Florida State game, whatever it was, 15 years ago, when they blocked like 4 of our kicks in a row, and we had to just go for
So the offensive line thing's been a problem for a long time. Clemson won 2 national championships with average or even below average offensive lines. The difference was dynamic quarterback play and a couple of receivers that could take the top off of any defense. That fixes offensive line problems. And again, that's something we don't have now. So the offensive line issue right now is more glaring because we don't have that dynamic receiver that can.
No, I mean, I'm talking about specifically on special teams, because Denhoff's the defensive lineman, right? He's on special teams, he's on field goal protect, and he doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. And we had 9 months to figure that shit out. And now, in the game, we're throwing this guy out here who has no idea, and we get 2 kicks blocked because of it. Like, that's ridiculous. That reminds me of some Tommy Bowden shit. And the thing is, well, one more thing, and I'm almost done. The thing is that these changes will not be made this season, obviously. I don't expect them to fire anyone mid-season. That's not going to happen, right? This is not – and I'm encouraged by the whole getting rid of Streeter and hiring Rowley thing, and that gives me some modicum of confidence that after the season, if this season goes poorly, as I think we all kind of anticipate it will, right, that he's going to actually make some more wholesale changes in the coaching staff. We need more people like Riley, because we're just woefully underprepared right now. It's not fucking NIL. It's not any of the shit about recruiting and TV money that we were talking about last week. We just are underprepared, and we're not developing our guys, and it's a fucking problem. We have to compete with the other teams. And then I'm beating a dead horse here, perhaps. Yeah. But like, look at fucking Florida State. I mean, we can't compete with people that are using the transfer portal when we're not, and can't compete with coaching staffs that are coaching up their players when we're not.
Yep. No, I agree with virtually everything you said. I see the Sandstorm show man is in here. He only shows up around this show whenever Clemson loses. To troll Clemson losing. But I haven't seen him say a single word about how fucking trash his team is. They're going to be lucky to make a bowl game. And yes, even if Clemson is down bad right now, they're still better than South Carolina. They're going to beat the absolute brakes off you in November. And this guy actually had the gall to come on in the comment section of that video I posted yesterday and tell me what I should and shouldn't say in a YouTube video. Meanwhile, he's got 15,000 subscribers. I looked at his channel. He's lucky to get 100 people to watch any video that he posts. So I'm not taking advice from you on what not to say in a YouTube video. And by the way, South Carolina fans have been trolling Clemson about having a goofy coach who cries for 10 years now. They somehow went out there and found somebody even fucking goofier and cries even more than Dabo Swinney. I mean, karma's a bitch, ain't it?
Yeah, the only problem he saw in that game was the chain crew getting back late. Really?
What's that got to do with the outcome of the game? I mean,
hey Vic, that's like
you tell me. That's what Shane Beamer said.
Hey Vic, that's like last year against Georgia when he got mad at the halftime show or whatever it was because they were on the edge of the sideline or whatever, and that was his biggest complaint from the Georgia game.
Yeah, I give credit to Carolina Jackpot. At least, he posted a video yesterday talking about the Clemson game. Obviously, he's happy they lost. But he said, you know what, as much as I like to see Clemson lose, I'm not happy. South Carolina sucks. He's honest.
Yeah.
He's honest.
But I wanted to go back to what Volusia said. I mean, that's everything he said. Like, that is it. I mean, even though you feel like you're ranting or you're, letting your emotions out, that is exactly the point. I think getting Riley was the first step. And you know what? We're going to overhaul our staff. We don't have a Trevor Lawrence. We don't have legendary quarterbacks or wide receivers, and it's like, why? Our receivers, we feel like we have stars all across the board, but why are they not getting developed like they are at other places? And so I think Riley, what's up?
I'm gonna caution you because we're treading very closely on things that I've been ranting about for years on YouTube about not playing up to your talent level. Listen, according to 247, Miami is the 11th most talented team in the country. When was the last time they played anywhere near that?
I mean, but I agree. I think that's the whole point of being able to develop the talent on your team. And
but constantly overhauling your coaching staff because you think in one season this isn't your guy.
Oh. Sorry.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Again, Slim, it's not a Riley thing. It's the issue is receivers coach Tyler Grisham played at Clemson under Dabo. Offensive line coach Thomas Austin played at Clemson when Dabo was an assistant there. Nick Eason, he didn't play, but maybe he's fine. And CJ Spiller, I don't think A, that running backs are the problem, or B, that he has been there long enough to blame. But, we've got some guys that he's overly loyal to, particularly guys that came out of the program. Streeter was one of them, got rid of him. Cool, right? But the receivers are not being coached well. And when you bring in a young rookie coach who played for you that you got a lot of faith in because he's a gritty, tough kid. Look, I love Tyler Grisham, all right? But we need a better receivers coach. That's just the end of it.
And I think Riley is the next step. I think him being able to develop those guys from what we saw at TCU was good. But I will say, y'all's running backs, just from watching that game, y'all got some badass running backs.
Yeah.
Y'all's running back room is nice, bro. Like Maffa and shit, dude. I don't know why they kept taking Maffa out.
That brings me to my next thing. We saw something on Monday night, and it was the best two drives that they had in the game, right? Those two drives where they went right down the field, got it, before they fumbled. It was something we didn't see even a single time last year. Two back set with Maffa and Shipley, and they're deadly with that because that makes the defense have to account for both of those guys. They don't know who's going to get the football. That opens up the passing game too. And when they had Maffa and Shipley in there together, they were driving right down the field. It was confusing the defense. And then they get down on the goal line and they take Shipley out. Look,
I know.
That's the kind of shit that frustrates me. If something is working and they can't stop it, and then you get down to a scoring situation and you stop doing it. And this is something that we have not. Look, this isn't new. We saw it in the LSU national championship game. We saw it against Ohio State when they lost to Ohio State. I mean, ETN was running fucking all over them. And then he got like 3 touches in the entire second half. It was absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of thing that's frustrating to me. And
to y'all's running backs, it's not like they're normal running backs. They're literally both Swiss Army knives. They can catch, they can block, they can do all of that. So it really makes the defense have to account for them. It's not like you have one bruiser and you're like, okay, hey, he'll run it, he'll go out. Poor
Shipley. I was about halfway through the fourth quarter. He was noticeably gassed.
Oh yeah, you talking about after he got hit?
Yeah,
he got hit hard and he got up and he was like, man.
But I mean, the guy. He was like 90% of the offense in that game.
And that was something I saw in chats of the Miami game Friday night. They were complaining that we rushed for 250 yards in a game. When is the last time Miami rushed for 250 yards in a game? And on top of that, they played 4 running backs, and every single one of them broke off a 20-plus yard run.
Yeah.
The stat that Dabo read, Dabo's a stat guy, right? He after every single game, he sits in the post-game press conference and reads out every single stat known to man. The stat that's funny, though, not funny, it's actually sad in this game. Under Dabo Swinney, when the team passes for at least 200 yards and runs for at least 200 yards, he's 58-0. Well, now he's 58-1.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure he's never done that, but also turn over the ball 3 times. So.
Yeah, you can't. You can't turn the ball over like that and expect to win. I mean.
What the fuck? And I guess I'm wrong here. Or I was unaware of this. What the fuck? And again, no Buckeye here. I'm not saying that we lost because of this, but what the hell was with that 4th down targeting and then we lost the ball anyway? Is that?
That's the right. Yeah, that's the right call. So once the quarterback begins to slide, the play is over. So according to the rule, the penalty is assessed on the next play, not that play.
I get it. I understand the logic. I just didn't realize that that's the way it worked.
Now, your line of thinking is correct because they have – I mean, really, the way that rule is set up, it's almost an incentive to go ahead and clobber the quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you're going to get the ball anyway.
Yeah, we talked about that last night on the ACC show. Yeah, it's because – and you know what? Ironically – if you watch the game, the guy who got ejected for targeting on that play was on the field clapping after it happened, because he knew that no matter he wasn't going to play the remainder of the 4 minutes of the game or whatever was left in it. But the Duke got the ball, so they don't care about safety. Otherwise, they'd change that rule.
Now I will say the people that said, well, he shouldn't have slid. He should have dove to try and get the first down. Or absolutely
right.
Well, no. Okay, so I don't think he should have slid. I think he should have stayed upright. Though he would have got the first down if he stayed upright. No, he would have got hit.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, put a shoulder down, dive, whatever.
No, he should just stayed upright and ran. He would have got hit. But he would have less chance of getting injured on that play by staying upright than he did by sliding. Clearly, I mean, he got targeted.
Well, you've got to figure that he just misjudged where he was at in relation to the line to get, or in relation to the line to gain, right? Because I think he probably thought he already had the first down and was safe to slide.
I think so. I think that's probably right.
But well, here's where I can't agree with that when the first down marker is 15 feet from you.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bad play. It was a mistake.
Well, it was a 7-yard run, so it was 21 feet away. And look, we're sort of like grasping at straws here. Should he have slid? No, that was sort of a rookie mistake. He'll learn from that. He should have known exactly where the first down marker was at and all that. But
yeah, I agree with that.
I mean,
I'm just saying it should have been in his line of sight because he was running towards the sideline.
To me, people are making a big deal about that play in particular because Clemson was trying to make a comeback at the end of the game. But to me, the game was already over at that point. So I don't really think it would have changed the outcome. They still would have lost, but
I think there were still like 8 minutes left at that point. By the way,
was there?
Yeah.
Yeah, because what happened was we got the ball back with 5 minutes left and then threw an interception.
Yeah.
So there was enough time to go down, and we were moving. If we would have scored a touchdown on that drive, we would have had a chance. But that, again, that's not the end all. Obviously, that didn't decide the game. But
the other narrative is if DJ played on that Monday night, would Clemson have won? You know what? Maybe they would have had a better chance to win. But DJ is, I mean, the guy started how many 30 football games? Something like that. Klubnik started 2. So the comparison between DJ and Klubnik, it doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, I do think now it's kind of indisputable. It was trying to fit a round peg into a square hole with DJ. He just wasn't the quarterback for what Clemson was trying to do. Kind of like Justin Fields at Georgia. I mean, his skill set didn't match what Georgia was trying to do.
No, I mean, and it sucks that, as soon as he left, then we got Monken. I felt like we would have had a better shot, fitting that round peg into a square hole or whatever you said.
And the idea that Dabo ran off DJ is also false. That was a DJ decision. I seriously doubt there was a conversation where Dabo Swinney calls DJ in his office and is like, "Hey, you need to transfer."
no,
So
definitely not.
who did run him off then?
He left on his own. He left on his own fruition.
Cade was going to start.
I mean, this happens. This happens in every single football program every year with multiple different players at multiple different positions.
Yes.
Like, they want to go on somewhere else. I mean, that's
You don't play.
And
Leave.
This could be taken multiple ways, and this is kind of an argument. And I don't agree with how Dion did it, but Mark Richt told Malik Rozier he would never be his starting quarterback at Miami, and Malik Rozier said, "Well, you know what? I'm going to prove you wrong." So even the whole excuse of trying to run people off, I mean, you can use that to make yourself better.
So here's the reason I'm 100% confident that Dabo did not run off DJ. He did run off Kelly Bryant, and he was vocal about it. He literally called Kelly Bryant his offense after week 4 with the new 4-game red shirt rule and said, "You got one more year of eligibility left. I'm starting Trevor from here forward. So if you feel like that you want to play another year of college football, then you probably should transfer, and I'll help you land wherever you want." So
Yeah, I mean, it's not running off is a bit of a harsh way to phrase that.
Right.
But yes.
But he did Kelly Bryant a solid in that situation. He gave him an option. He didn't have to do that. He could have not said anything until game day and said, "I'm starting Trevor," and Kelly Bryant would have lost his eligibility. But he didn't. He did the right thing, in my opinion. Obviously, he did the right thing when we won the national championship that year. But
I agree with you there.
Okay.
So onward
I mean,
and
I don't
onward
think-
to week 2 of college football.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So first, can we hear from Baylor Man though? I know he's been awfully quiet, but
Baylor Man's just licking. Oh, this is really sad. Baylor Man has now started doing countdown to basketball season already.
As a
Man,
matter of fact, I've actually got the official T-shirt of the Baylor the Baylor basketball student section, because in honor of the 63 days until our men's basketball team takes the court.
There you go.
well,
Now, not trying to change the subject for Baylor, but am I missing something with the line on that Texas Tech Oregon game only being 6 points? Am I missing something here?
I don't know.
That's called a trap.
it's a trip.
I get the whole argument that okay, it's Texas Tech back at home after losing to Wyoming, and the whole wounded animal backed into a corner thing. But I mean, Oregon was damn good last year and looked it so far this year.
Scored 81 points just to be a 6-point favorite.
yeah, I think Oregon's a pretty good team. Not to interrupt from the football talk because it's amazing and fantastic, but Slim, have you done something different with your audio? I hear no background noise, and I see that you're driving. You sound amazing. People last night were complaining. People last night were complaining on the ACC show saying, "Get this guy off the air. It's too much background noise." But I don't hear anything. right now.
Slim just told everything else to be quiet.
I don't hear that constant rattling that we normally hear every time you hit a pothole.
I see that Slim is shaking around a lot.
He's rattling too. He's rattling like hell.
Well, I got one of those little holders on my dashboard. I mean, I've done nothing different that I know of.
Oh.
I mean, now most of the ACC show, I was parked with my window down, so maybe that was it.
Oh, so what we heard in the background was just a bunch of lot lizards then. That's what that was.
Pretty much.
All right. Anyway, carry on with the football talk. I just had to ask him.
Who was
But yeah, I'm curious what I'm missing with that line. To me, it seems like it should be higher.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah.
Baylor man's a real fan. Look at this guy. I mean, I bet you're going to the game this weekend, aren't you, buddy?
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. See, look at that.
Who was it? So who was it that you wanted fired again, Baylor man?
The offensive coordinator. I didn't like that hire from the get-go.
Yeah, Tim Russell.
Now, there is something to be said, though.
Tim Russell says Lot Lizards, a new cover band name. That would be a great name for a band. The Lot Lizards.
What about what about the defensive coordinator? I mean, didn't he give up 42 points to Texas State? So
And he's also brand new. And the thing is, a lot of the blame goes to the defense. I mean, it almost looked like they didn't have any heart. I mean, they just kept playing man to man the whole game and just got smacked around over the top. And
it's funny. It was not last year. The season before last season. Your head coach was a hot commodity, right? There was a lot of teams that probably would have taken him, and now his stock has dropped big time, hasn't it?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I still think Dave Aranda's a good coach.
I mean, no, I think he is too.
He's had one good year at Baylor, but
yeah, he had. Well, it was actually a great year, but
he's had a losing record. So
yeah. Last year, listen, coming into last year, I had Baylor as a playoff team. Playoff team in that.
Playoff team in that. Playoff team in that.
Massively disappointing, and then he come out and lay a complete egg week one. So, but.
Well, listen, I mean, I think there's something to be said too. Texas State brought in 51 or 50 transfers.
Yeah.
So, Baylor, man, it's not like you lost to a real Texas State team. You lost to a overhauled Texas State
Welcome
team.
to college football 2023.
There you go.
It's transfer teams are at the top of the list now, I guess. Look at Florida State.
And I'll admit, I'm not a fan of that. Like, I don't think that you need to come in. I don't think you should come in and overhaul an entire team, kick off half the roster, and basically bring in a whole new roster just to appease people with no patience.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? There's an opposite position by most people. I understand Dabo Swinney's position with the transfer portal. First of all, let's not forget that now he has not lived up to what he said, but he does claim that he is completely open and willing to use the transfer portal to fill in needs. Now he hasn't done that, right? He has taken in transfers, but Hunter, the quarterback from fucking where did he come from? Arizona State.
Yeah.
Bear Bryant's grandson or whatever.
Great grandson. Fuck off with that shit.
Yeah. So he brought in the guy, the former Clemson player from Northwestern last year. All that. Look, he's
players don't really help Clemson though. So.
But okay, yeah, that's justified. But there is an opposite position like that. Like Uncle Lou's stance, for example. Is the Deion stance, right? You should run off players that are no good and use the transfer portal to fill those gaps. But there's a whole other mindset, the Dabo Swinney mindset, is that this is still a college sport. I'm not going to go out there and spend 8 months or even 2 years in some cases recruiting a guy, promising him a scholarship, and then run him off. So look, it's a philosophical debate in my opinion.
Yes.
Win at all costs, or shit on your players that you're recruiting.
Yeah.
So
we don't need 18 transfers. We need like 3 or 4. We need 2 receivers, and we need maybe a defensive lineman, weird as that sounds, and we need a linebacker, maybe someone in the secondary. That's it. We don't need 15 transfers, man.
Yeah, I feel you. Not enough. You're not bringing in enough transfers to where you have to kick somebody off.
No, and nor should we. Now, do we need to be giving walk-on scholarships? Do we need to have these guys that play 15 snaps a season on scholarship? No, right?
Yeah, I feel you.
Right. So we could probably find a way to free up 3 or 4 scholarships without stepping on any toes, ruffling any feathers, blah, 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 right? And fix up the key positions, particularly at the wide receiver position, where we need immediate help and are literally losing games.
I've just been made a liar for the second time of this season. The first lie I told was that Clemson was going to dominate Duke. Second lie I told is that Lester, a.k.a. Lezer, does not come on any live chats. All he does is comment about I need a tan in every video I make. And look he's in the comment section.
Step up your tan game, bro.
Yeah, and he says, give me a shout out. I did. I gave you a 5-minute shout out earlier in the stream here.
Nice.
But he's in here talking about my tan again. So what's up, buddy?
Pete, have you gotten a lot more views on the videos and live streams since the game?
Oh, yeah. Look, losing is bad for the soul, good for business, as they say.
Yeah.
Oh, there was almost 1,000 people in that live chat.
Listen to me. I don't have a big channel, right? I got whatever 6,300 or whatever it is subscribers. I've gained 200 subscribers in the past 24 hours. So that's a lot for me. And that would not have happened if Clemson didn't shit the bed on Monday night.
Yeah.
So.
Let's hope they do it again. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
If they lose every game, shit, I might have 10,000 subscribers by the end of the season.
I mean, Lou points that out all the time. So many people, find his channel from his blow-ups when Georgia does something stupid.
Yeah.
That's how I found it.
Yeah, losing is good for YouTube. I mean, that's the other thing too. Like when I first came on YouTube, Clemson was a national champion at that point, and people were like, "Oh, look at this guy coming on when Clemson's good," and I'm like, "That's not necessarily a good thing for YouTube." People love to see a misery.
Speaking of doing something stupid, I do have a quick bone to pick. So during the Texas State Baylor game, our quarterback Blake Shapen got hit, pretty low, and he tore his knee up. But they kept him in the game for a very long time. Clearly hurt. I mean, I don't know. I felt that was stupid, and I guess the coaches need to # stop mistreating Blake Shapen.
Yeah, that is stupid if you ever see that.
For not taking him out of the game, for not getting him checked out on the sideline.
No, I mean, he was limping around the whole time, taking hits after hit after hit because offensive line Swiss cheese.
I don't know why they do that. The same thing happened with Kelly Bryant against Syracuse when they lost. I think they ended up winning that game, didn't they? I don't know. But anyway, it was one of those road games. I think it was 2018 at Syracuse. Kelly Bryant clearly hurt, limping around. They kept him in the game. I was yelling at the TV screen, take this guy out, we're going to get him killed. I don't know why coaches do that.
So what happened? That was
concussion in that game.
Yeah, that was the 2017 game, and he got a concussion, and he was all woozy and shit.
Yeah,
and they ended up taking him out.
He ended up.
Trevor wasn't there in 17.
No, we lost that game. Lost that game.
No, so Bryant was limping around. He started the game hurt. Right, so he's clearly hurt. Everybody could see it. He was limping, physically limping. They kept him in the game and ended up getting a concussion as a result of it.
Yeah,
that was I will still say it to this day. Maybe the biggest thing that Dabo Swinney did that I had a serious problem with.
Should they fine coaches for that? I
don't know how you can do that though. How do you legislate that?
Yeah, because you don't know how hurt somebody truly is.
Right.
Well, I guess,
at the moment.
I mean, I could see finding the medical staff.
Well, I guess the player could.
Yeah.
Well, the medical staff isn't deciding who's starting and playing the game, though.
True, and they don't make enough money.
But they're supposed to say this guy can't go if he's got a concussion.
Agreed.
And
what does he do in the NFL?
And the explanation from Dabo was, well, Kelly, he was ready to go. He said he was ready to go. Of course, every player who's worth their weight in salt is going to say, I'm going to play the game whether they're hurt or not. You can't. Sometimes you have to take the decision out of the player's hands.
Well, absolutely. I mean, that's why you have a corner man in boxing to protect the fighter from himself.
Except if you're fucking Ben Simmons or somebody like that, yeah.
Yeah, and because what ended up happening is Shapen's got a torn MCL, and
so who's the backup?
Sawyer Robertson.
MCL.
He was he transferred from Mississippi State.
No, wait. So that means that in case of injury, you guys have a fucking transfer. You can. Wow, geez.
Oh.
Cool.
No, well, I thought it was just a sprain, not a tear, but
or sprained, and I know it's his MCL.
it says it's going to be out 2 to 3 weeks. So
yeah.
Well, Baylor, man, if you were Clemson, you could have Bear Bryant's great grandson to play quarterback for you instead.
That is very true. That is very true.
Nothing like nepotism.
Now I've got a question, and I can't believe I've even been doing this, but big surprise, Miami Hurricane fans are crying on the internet.
No.
Even after a fucking win. Is my line of thinking wrong? Like, I really don't care that they didn't throw some 50-yard bomb down the field. I mean, you had 250 yards rushing, 250 yards passing. You kept it balanced against an opponent that you should have ran over, and you did. And I don't give a shit, and they're mad about it.
Well, you know what? You see like extremes on both ends of the spectrum. With Miami and every other team too. I mean, Clemson's going through it right now, but it's like you have the certain sector of the fan base that's like, that we dominated Miami of Ohio. The team looked great, which they did. We're winning the ACC. Then you have the ones that are, like you just said, complaining about it. So it is what it is. Did you see Coach Coops? Did you see Coach Coops' video about Clemson?
I haven't, not yet.
Well, I guess he was kind of like watching the end of the Clemson game and recording himself at the same time. But he is super, super excited about the downfall of Clemson and also proclaiming that they're, that Miami's going to curb stomp Clemson. Look, I understand what he's doing, but the last 2 times you played Clemson in recent years, I've been at both games. And it wasn't even close. Neither one of them were close. So don't count your chickens before they hatch. That game is later in the season, too. There's plenty of time for shit to happen.
4 times we played, it hasn't been close.
Yeah, last 4 times.
You forgot 58-0, bro.
Oh, I wouldn't be counting that as a dub on the schedule quite yet. Not yet, anyway. I need to see a little bit more from both teams.
The fucking ACC championship, too. 4 times now.
That's why I said 4 times.
Oh, I thought you said 3,
Yeah, no, I said 4. Hey, listen, will Miami give them a tougher game this year? Yes, just because I've seen basic fundamentals fixed from that game that they've been having problems with.
Sure.
So I can absolutely conclude the team is better because they're just fundamentals, tackling, catching the ball. The offensive line is 10 times what it was last year. The offensive line looked bad against Middle Tennessee. So they were looking bad against bad teams, too.
You remember what I said a couple of weeks ago, Slim. I admitted, I said that the most confusing team to me in the ACC coming into the season is Miami. Like, if you told me they're going to win 10 games, I wouldn't be shocked. If you told me they're going to win 6 games, I wouldn't be shocked. So they're just like the most unknown team, in my opinion. But I even said, everybody's penciling in a win for Clemson against Miami. I'm not ready to do that yet. Because I need to see exactly what Miami looks like, and Clemson too. But I need to see exactly what Miami's going to look like this year. But I don't think we're there yet. 1 game sample size is just not enough for me to determine that for either team.
I agree with you. Here's why I still say Miami has got a ceiling, because 16 true freshmen played in that opening game. You just don't have a whole bunch of teams super successful playing that many true freshmen, no matter how good they are. And listen, I did not want one of these true freshman offensive linemen to start. I think even less often do you have an offensive lineman ready to start versus a quarterback. Because an offensive lineman, that's a position you physically have to grow into.
Yeah, it's an extreme rarity that a freshman steps in on the offensive line and is successful immediately. Yeah.
Yes, and you had
for
two
Clemson.
of
I can
them.
think of exactly one, Mitch Hyatt. That's it. I can't think of another one in my 25 years of watching Clemson.
Think of one at Georgia. Yeah, who was that? Trying to remember. Oh yeah, that was
Sawyer?
it. Was Andrew Thomas. Yeah, that was
okay.
started as a freshman at Georgia.
There is a lot
Yeah, but like you
And
said, it's a rarity.
I'm not saying they won't be good, but they're going to make freshman mistakes.
Sure.
I mean,
Yeah.
listen, another thing that I say, okay, Miami is going to be a better team this year. Tyler Van Dyke never got sacked. They gave up one sack, third stringers were in the game in the fourth quarter.
So if you're
I can't tell you the last time Miami.
if you're a Miami fan, there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic. Right now, it's still way too early. I mean, Miami has a history of having high expectations and not meeting up to them. But Tyler Van Dyke is a really good player, and there's just not that many teams in the country that has a reliable quarterback like that. He didn't have a great season last year, but we've seen what he can do, and he's a veteran, and that matters.
Even with the offensive line problems, even with the wide receiver problems, he still completed almost 70% for about 2,000 yards.
Yeah,
obviously he got.
I think he's the real deal. He's a really good player.
So I mean, I can imagine what he can do healthy behind a line that can protect him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got a couple of Georgia players on the panel. We got Vic Tube, of course. We got my boy Tiger Baskins. How excited are you on a scale of 1 to 10 to meet up against Ball State this weekend?
Ball State is they're going to bring it. It's going to be a handful. I'll tell you that. Ball State is going to be a handful.
Other non-con.
It's going to be a tough game to grasp, if you know what I mean.
Will Kirby Smart take the opportunity to give us a quarterback battle here? I mean, I'm seeing a lot of Georgia fans, talk about Brock Vandergriff. Are we going to see like a 2 quarterback system against Ball State?
Probably.
All I know is I am super excited about how Kirby is treating the quarterback room. This man literally let the second string come in and not just run the offense, but try to throw for 200 yards. And then the third stringer comes in and he does the same thing. And it's like, old Kirby. I don't know if you guys remember Justin Fields after the South Carolina game. Somebody ran up to him and was like, bro, you played good today. He's like, yeah, I handed the ball off good as F. There's a complete difference in that Kirby and this Kirby.
Is that Kirby or is that the offensive coordinator?
No,
I don't think that's a difference in either one. I think it's a fact.
Well, I'm saying because he did it with Fields, he did it with Jacob Eason, he's done it with every backup in his first 4 years, I'd say.
So that lends to the question: is there a reason for that? Does he feel like that Brock Vandergriff might be the potential starter at some point in the season? Is that why he's doing that?
Man, the reason for that is so you don't see your quarterbacks don't transfer. You got 2 really good quarterbacks as a backup.
But you just pointed out yourself that he hasn't done it yet.
It's about keeping quarterbacks ready.
That's what I mean, getting them reps.
I 1,000% agree with Uncle Lou. Your running back room is trash, and he's got no choice but to throw the ball.
Oh wow, there's a whole other thing there, yeah. Oh.
Well, I agree.
I don't. The running back room.
It's because he wants to keep both quarterbacks ready. I think that's the best reason.
Compared to what it's been, no, your running back room is not good at all.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I get that.
I get it's the first game, but there is absolutely no excuse in the world for UT Martin to push around your offensive
Sounds to me like
That's
it's time. It's time to go ahead and push out Jackson Muschamp and get you a running back. That's what it sounds like to me.
baby.
Look, when I'll say this too. Kirby is known for, and I forgot who was it that said this. Kirby's known for in these small games to just he's basically using it as a practice. Like he's gonna in these small games, he's gonna run a play no matter what the defense looks like or not. So it's not one of those where you're changing this. And my reasoning is, what about last year when Georgia beat who was it, UAB or somebody by 20, and everybody's like,
yeah, Samford.
Yeah, and everybody's like, oh man, they look terrible. And then against Missouri, it's like, man, they look terrible. Yeah, when they play the crappiest competition, they go out there and just work on stuff. And it's a close game and everybody trips out. But then when they beat TCU, and it's like, TCU is not a good team.
I'm calling complete bullshit on that. You look like ass against Missouri. Point blank period. Your team played like shit.
Yes,
That's a
we did.
division game. That's not a practice game, dude. And that was like halfway through the season. That one's not the same thing.
I've been told that that's a rivalry game.
Oh, right.
So it's funny. Georgia went out there and looked like complete ass against Missouri. Now they did end up winning the game. I guess that's all that really matters. But no, I don't. Was there anybody running around? Was there anybody running around talking about fire Kirby Smart? That Georgia's a dead program. They laid an egg against a shit team like Missouri. No.
Also, let me add to that. If Georgia had fumbled the ball on 3 consecutive drives inside the 5-yard line, they probably would have fucking lost that game.
Yes.
True. Yes. No, not probably. They definitely would have.
Definitely.
It took a perfect game.
So it's almost like good teams can have bad games. Man, imagine that.
You just took the words out of my mouth. That's exactly what I was fixing to say. Because you look at every team that wins a national title, Georgia included, you can look back to a game or two in that year and be like, damn, y'all could have lost that one.
Shit, man. Clemson in 2016. Clemson in 2016 national championship team, Deshaun Watson, got ran over and bullied by Pitt in Clemson.
Yeah.
2018 team probably should have lost the Syracuse game when Lawrence got a concussion.
Yeah.
And that team was fucking dominant. This 2018 team blew the doors off everybody else, but could have easily lost to Syracuse.
So y'all
as good as that 0-1 Miami team was, they beat Virginia Tech by 2.
Yeah.
But you were talking about the running back room. Back to that. I know the running back room is not as good as it was before, but away from the talent in the running back room, I don't know when's the last time at Georgia we've had multiple 100-yard games from one running back. So, like, our running game, it may be a staple, but we use like 4 or 5 guys throughout the game. So it's not one of those where I really,
My overall point is this isn't a year where you can lean on your run game like you traditionally have under Kirby.
Ghost Striker in the chat. This is one of the. There's at least 50 comments of this on my video. He says you seem to forget that Duke also fumbled the punt return in your only touchdown and also fumbled in the red zone. Yeah, I did. I never said that Duke played a perfect game and that's the only reason they won and they didn't turn the ball over. What I said was it is fluky by definition to have a blocked field goal, a missed short field goal, and 2 turnovers on the 1-yard line. That's what I said. And I also said that Duke was the better team, with the better quarterback, the better defense, and was better coached and deserved to win the game. I don't know what's so confusing to people about that. I really can't wrap my head around why people are confused about what I'm saying. Both can be true.
Yeah, when you get your ass beat, you just say, "Yeah, we got our ass beat."
And I did. But all right. Next time Clemson loses a game, it's going to be a 3-second fucking video that I make. I'm going to come on there and say we got our ass beat, and that's going to be the end of the video. Would anybody watch that?
I would watch it.
Me, I'm actually going to do it.
Do it.
Me coming on and spending 17 minutes analyzing the game is what I do.
Yeah.
Win or lose.
I know, and Vic may attest to this too. One thing I was happy about with the UT Martin game for Georgia was about halfway through the second quarter, we had second-string defense and second-string offensive line in the game, and like they played a lot, and that's something I think I'm happy as a fan. Kirby played when we have these games. You can play 4 games without losing your eligibility or your red shirt. Like he does a really good job of throwing these guys in, and it's really cool to see some of the young talent get in and play.
I think they absolutely should. I agree with you on that. I think everybody should do it because that's how, if somebody goes down, somebody else is ready to step right in.
Yeah.
Call out it's a potato comment. I got to call it out. Somebody who I think just came in the room says, Clemson's not a good team. Georgia beat the shit out of Clemson. You guys sound like you think Clemson is going to be just fine when they played so bad against it. Who the fuck said that?
Literally, nobody said that.
Clemson's going to be just fine. I don't fucking think so.
Nick, you need to join the Clemson. What is it? TigerNet, the thread on there. I mean, the meltdown that's happening on TigerNet is absolutely epic. Look, Clemson fans are ready to fire everybody. Nobody thinks that. Nobody said that. Nobody thinks that. And Jonah, who's this guy? Jonah Kuchowicz. Clemson was gifted their only score. Laugh my ass off. Okay.
Now he says you guys are like Clemson, look pretty good. Who the fuck?
And also, so all right. So Duke was gifted 17 points by Clemson. Then. So what's your point?
No, he's trying to say that we're acting like Clemson's still good and we still look good. Who the fuck said that?
Nobody said it.
Literally
nobody said it.
The season is not over. Our program is not dead and buried, and we can fix some certain things. And we're probably not going to have a great season.
Look, there's not a single. I have yet to see a single Clemson fan that is happy about the performance on Monday night.
No shit.
Not one.
Word salad.
No way. You guys are like Clemson look pretty good. Pete, did we fucking say that?
No. Nobody said it.
So.
Nobody said it. But pointing out that some of the positives on the team, that equals, I guess, that Clemson's going to be fine. Nobody's saying they're going to be fine. I'm just not ready to be a fucking idiot and bury the team after one game of the season. Because that's stupid to do.
Oh, it is.
That's all.
Yeah.
And another potato. Even if Clemson gifted Duke 17 points, they still would have won. That comes from somebody who either didn't watch the game or doesn't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Again. Selective hearing. I don't know what part of Duke was better than Clemson. You don't understand.
But yet, everybody else, these same people that make these comments are the same ones saying, well, Texas A&M's going to beat the shit out of Miami because they're more talented. Okay. Clemson's going to beat the shit out of Florida State because they're more talented.
Or Duke.
Yeah, Nature Boy is. I wish losses brought out good trolls. It brings out the potatoes. Well, doing what I do.
Have scholarship opportunities for my Troll Academy people.
do it. Yeah. So that's a great point that Slim just brought up, because Slim is on here 365 days a year trolling, win or lose. That's a professional troll right there. 99% of the people that troll me and come on, like the Sandstorm guy earlier, and a lot of other people, they don't show up ever unless they lose. You know. So that's cowardly. But whatever. I'll take a view. Thank you for watching.
I can even teach you the secrets to trolling a team that wins. That's how good my program is.
Yeah, Miami's a master at that, aren't they?
How much is tuition?
It's free. It's free.
I'll send you a form for we do have some limited scholarship opportunities available.
Nah, bro, I'll sponsor him. I got NIL for Baylor, man, if he goes.
Hey, Slim, do you accept preferred walk-ons?
Yeah.
We will, yes.
Got you. Yeah, I got Baylor, man. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, you gotta keep
now,
the scholarship.
I hate to say it. But we do discriminate. There's no hope for Ohio State, man.
Oh, man.
Sometimes it is the weather's fault.
Yeah, true. Or the backups.
No, it's not. It's not the players.
Or you could have injured wide receiver. Yeah.
The refs.
But it's definitely not the hash marks that have been the exact same for like 100 years.
Yeah, injured wide receivers. That's a good one.
Crazy how many things are wrong, you know?
Well, technically, it is always
blame themselves.
Yeah, not many coaches do that. Well, I just did terrible today. I suck.
No, I mean, like, the fans, like, they had we just had a bad game. You know, they just didn't play well. The other team, whoever it was the better team. No, not with Ohio State, man.
Oh, not with Ohio State. I was gonna say, do you remember Jim Mora doing that? The hilarious rants.
Oh, you talk about the GOAT of all post-game rants.
Oh, man, yeah.
Nobody's like Jim Mora.
Oh yeah, that was a great rant.
Oh,
Playoffs?
Yeah, there's
playoffs?
UCLA not going to the playoffs.
for some reason it seems like the NFL has a much better post game rants than college football does.
No, Vic, we're talking about Jim Mora Sr., not his son.
Yeah.
Okay.
What was his name? Danny Green, another one.
Yeah.
There's been a bunch of good ones in the NFL.
But the Baylor Bears are who I didn't think we were.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I must admit,
At least this Saturday.
I must admit, I am a little disappointed because, hey, listen, if Miami's going to play a team, and especially if I'm going to be at the game, I want a good game. And I've lost all hope that when I go to the Swamp to start next year, that's going to be a good game.
Oh, that's going to be 9-6, but.
Oh, no.
Shameless plug right here for all the people that are watching. I'm looking up the poll that I put up on for the members only. Right now, the 7:30 games is dominating the polls, and we got one vote on the Patreon page for the 3:30 game. So right now, 7:30. It'll be open till tomorrow night. Make sure you make your vote.
Who plays?
Vote for the 3:30 games.
Well, who plays at 7:30? Who would you be streaming?
Yes.
Texas and Alabama.
Bama and Texas.
Yeah.
I'm gonna look at the. Let me look at the game slate.
It doesn't matter to me. It really doesn't matter to me because whatever members only stream I do, I'm still going to stream a public at a different time slot. So Slim, if I do the members only at 7:30, I'll still be doing the Miami game at 3:30 most likely. So.
Right. Well, I like to be in a comment section for a Miami game. That's always fun.
I'm gonna predict the Texas Alabama game.
Now, see, that's one I will say. Listen, I don't care about Ohio State excuses, but that South Florida heat makes a difference in a game, whether anybody likes it or not. And Pete can attest to this.
Yeah, I was just there. Yeah, so it's different down there. That's no doubt.
Let's see.
And even with the canopy they put on, obviously the field's not under the canopy. So for that 3:30 game, the visitor sideline is standing right in the sun.
They put that canopy on there so drunk college chicks wouldn't pass out midway through the second quarter. It's a safety hazard.
I believe it. I almost had a heat stroke years ago at the Orange Bowl. It's something serious.
I think Alabama's quarterback is going to throw for 61 yards and rush for 240.
That's probably about right.
Yeah, that's a good question. So that's probably like the most contested game of the weekend, right? I mean, as far as the fan opinion, where do you guys fall on that? I mean, I have a feel. I'm actually picking Texas to win this. I know it's in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, definitely picking Texas.
So what do you think, Slim?
Texas is another one of those I kind of throw in the Miami boat. Lack of talent hasn't been their problem. So, I mean, it's one of those, Texas has got to show me that they can do it.
Yeah. So, again, I don't have enough of a sample size to go off of. I mean, I'm just basing it on last year, right? But last year, Alabama did have the best quarterback in the country with Bryce Young. They don't have that this year. I'm not saying that Milroe's no good. I don't know yet. But they still almost lost that game. I think, in my opinion, my expectations for this year for Texas are higher than they were last year. Most likely going to win the Big 12. I don't know. We'll see what Oklahoma looks like. But so
I would agree with that. But Texas, like Miami, is kind of known to fall on their face.
This is a big game for Texas. I mean, well, it's a big game for both teams. Don't get me wrong. To me, it's a bigger game for Texas. They need to get over that hump, right? Who has more to lose in this game for this, as far as the season's concerned? That's not a conference game, right? So it doesn't affect their conference standings. So either team can lose and still win their conference and potentially make the playoffs, right? But who has more to lose if they lose this game? In my opinion, it's Alabama.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask a question. If Texas, if in that Texas Alabama game last year, they'd actually called that safety as they should have, and Texas actually wins that game, do we feel differently about this game? I would say so.
Probably, yeah.
I actually think Texas got more to lose because Bama's going to have more opportunities, play ranked teams, and climb back up in the rankings.
That's actually a pretty good point. Yeah.
True. Are we sold on Milroe? Because I'm not.
I'm not even sure Alabama fans are sold on him yet. We don't have enough of a sample size. I mean, who'd they play last week?
Milton.
Yeah.
Tennessee.
It's hard to get a good judge on what they're going to be doing in SEC play or against a team like Texas based on what happened last week. But
like I said, all you can really take out of those kind of games is like stuff like I did. Our wide receivers catching the ball versus what they did last year, stuff like that.
Yeah.
No matter what happens in that game, YouTube's going to be an interesting place after next week because there's a lot of Alabama fans on the internet.
Love it. Usually Alabama has like when they have a game like this, there's usually another game or two to kind of take away the attention. I don't think there is this weekend.
Yeah, and of course this is the the old Saban's got whatever his record is against former coordinators. Yeah, there's that whole angle to it.
But he has 2 losses though.
2 losses, yeah.
Well, I think by the time that game rolls around, you have the potential for streams to be interesting anyway. Because if Miami beats A&M, they're coming out of the woodworks. I can already tell you that.
Oh yeah.
They're going to be coming out of every nook and cranny of the dark web and everywhere else.
Boy, the SEC homers they're rocking that Jimbo Fisher, aren't they? Jimbo Fisher is now all of a sudden a good coach. They've been trashing him for the past 2 years. Now Jimbo Fisher's a great coach now.
Now, I think that game right there, both of those teams have a lot more to lose.
That's actually a good point. Yeah. I mean, this is to steal Uncle Lou line. Could this be a your season is over game for Texas A&M if they lose? Probably.
It is. I think whoever loses is definitely getting on your season is over. So.
Right.
Well, yeah, they're going to be on video, but I mean, Texas A&M is probably. Texas A&M is probably a little more talented than Clemson. That's the most talented team Miami is going to play all year. So even if losing that game, if they can stay competitive in that game and make it to where, say, A&M doesn't cover the spread.
Well, I'm not. Yeah. So I'm not talking about Uncle Lou's your season is over list. I'm talking about like is your season actually over? Like in real, for real. For Miami, their season is definitely not over if they lose to A&M. If A&M loses to Miami, their season probably is over as far as playoff goes. Right. Okay. I think.
Now, so are we defining a season being over as in they're not going to make the playoff?
Yeah, and that's only because Texas A&M is in the conversation to possibly make the playoffs.
Yeah.
Who the hell said that?
Because they had the second best odds to win the West.
Right.
So.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, technically, it doesn't matter what happens in this game, but A&M is not making the playoff, yo.
Well, I agree with you.
That shouldn't be the goal for Miami either. I mean, Miami shouldn't be looking at that at all. They should just be looking at making the ACC championship game and then, hopefully getting a good New Year's Six and winning the damn thing.
Right, or at least making a bowl. Right, at least making a bowl. Yeah.
Lester wants to make a bet with me that OU will win the Big 12. So you want me to bet you that OU? Hold on, I'm confused. You're saying that they will?
I'd like to pose a question for this.
Everybody wants to bet with me.
I get your point that Miami didn't make a bowl last year, but we're not Tennessee where we had a habit of not making a bowl. Our problem is winning the damn things.
I'm actually going to take the high road on this one. The Big 12 to me is so wide open. I'm not willing to say that Oklahoma won't win it. Now, I don't think they're going to win it, but I'm not willing to bet on it.
Yeah, they can win it.
They could win it.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask that person, who does Oklahoma play?
Well, they played.
They ain't played nobody.
Not
Oh,
Baylor.
they played Arkansas State. What do you mean?
Yeah, not Baylor.
Now I gotta find a
Kansas
replay of this
State.
game because I heard a rumor that
Butch
O-line
Jones
was
cried his ass
actually
off.
crying on the sideline.
Yes, Butch
Yes,
was being a little
he
Butch.
Yeah, he was.
And
Oh,
listen,
man.
I mean, I get it. I think it was the Duke game in 2018. Mark Richt was crying on the sideline. Look, DJ Dallas had his arm around him.
You think that's because he was just happy?
Although, no, they lost the game.
Really,
but
what?
I think that was. I think
I-
that was the game before Mark Richt announced his retirement.
I'm pretty sure he just had something in his eye. He wasn't crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
no, Butch Jones was sobbing, bro. It wasn't like he was just crying.
Yeah, when his belly's jiggling along with it, he's crying.
Yes. Is that how you know?
Look though, I'm gonna let y'all go. That way I can beat the part where Pete's like, "All right, guys, I gotta shut
Well,
the show down."
yeah. Well, you just took it right out of my mouth. Thank you for stealing my thunder. Yeah.
Leave it to
Bye,
your
y'all.
co-host to do it.
Yeah.
See y'all.
The only reason I have to get off here is because Tiger Baskin's just leaving, and I can't deal with it.
There you go.
I
Bye, y'all.
understand.
All right. See you later, Baskins. Yeah, but he seriously did take the words. I was about to say that. I do have to go. Let's go down the line here. Vic, any last words? What today? Wednesday? You have a show today or no?
Show today? No, I have a show on Friday.
Friday at 6 p.m.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. So today is the Celine Driver show. Is that on? Are you done?
Yeah.
Are you done being
Yes.
the fill in for him now? Is it
Yes, right.
official?
Yeah,
All right.
It's the
That's good.
Celine Driver shows today. Yes.
All right. So, what's going to happen on the Celine Driver show? Are we going to listen to him bash Florida, or fire Billy Napier, or?
Yeah, I think so. I think there will be some a lot of talk about the Gators. Yeah.
All right. So he's basically the only person on the internet talking about the Gators at this point. That's good to know. All right. All right. See you later, Vic. Thanks for coming in, buddy.
Okay. Bye, y'all.
All right. Baylor man.
Yo.
I don't even know what to say. You know how earlier in the show I was complaining, or not complaining, but saying I don't know why people are saying sorry to me because Clemson lost, like I had something to do with it, or like it affects my life in any like real way. But I'm sorry. I'm sorry that Baylor looks so terrible.
Well, as you know, I've rooted for Baylor for a long time. Like, of course, I have a degree from Baylor, so I guess that plays a large part.
You
in
are
it.
an actual true Baylor man. It's not a facade, is what you're saying.
Yeah. I've learned to develop very thick skin.
Yes. Almost. You know what? Almost skin as thick as a bear, almost.
Oh, maybe
Were you saying
even
that?
more thicker with. I just need some, I guess, thicker fur. Yeah.
So you need to grow a beard then. All right.
Oh, I have one.
Oh, all right. All right, Baylor man. Good luck to your Bears this week. Hopefully you can redeem yourself and have fun at the game. Hopefully I'll talk to you before then, but have fun at the game.
I'm not holding my breath there.
All right. Don't trip in your Baylor line run. Don't get trampled.
Well, yeah, I don't want to do that. I'll start a domino effect.
Yeah. All right. See you later, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
Is there?
All right. We got Slim Shady Canes. Where you at right now?
Well, unfortunately, heading back to Columbus, trying to get through it as quickly as possible.
Well, it seems like you're in Columbus a lot.
I go through it a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's terrible. Well, not just Columbus. I mean, the state of Ohio, period. It's just terrible.
Yeah. Well, I agree. And most of the people that live there agree, too. That's why they get the fuck out of there, right?
That's why they're in Charleston.
That's why they're in Charleston, yeah.
But yeah, I try to get it. Well, it ain't like I got to go to Kentucky. I'm going back down through Kentucky, so it's not like I'm really upgrading very much.
Oh. From one trailer park to another. Good to know.
A little bit better class of people.
All right, Slim. Well, be safe out there on the road. I'll talk to you soon, buddy. Thanks for coming on.
All right, y'all.
All right. Last but of course not least, Tater Man in the foreign land, broadcasting live from Shanghai, China.
Yes. Well, look, man. I mean, it was the most depressing game I've seen from Clemson in 10 years. The most depressing opener I've seen maybe ever. Maybe the 30-0 game in 03. But in any case, look, man. I mean, the season's not over. You know, it would be really a shame if we anticipated the season for 8 whole months and then gave up after a 3-hour game, right? So, look, there are a lot of things we got to fix, and hopefully whatever happens this season, whether we end up fucking winning out and going to the playoffs or whether we go 6-6, which I don't think is going to happen. I think 9-3 is probably what I would guess at this point. But, you know, we got to hope that, number one, you know, we don't embarrass ourselves too much. Number two, we have fun watching the games. And then number three, that we actually make some of the necessary changes we need to make in the offseason. So all is not lost yet. All these fucking idiots talking about how Dabo's done, it's over, Clemson's dead. They can go fuck themselves.
Yeah. Did you hear what I said? Well, I don't know. I guess you didn't. The ACC show. Somebody, I think it was on Twitter. Yeah. It was a Georgia fan commented on one of my posts comparing Dabo Swinney to Mark Richt. I was like, man, that might be the dumbest take I've ever heard in my life. Mark Richt never even sniffed a championship, let alone 2.
That's right.
So, but anyway, well said. Great appearance today, my friend. And hopefully, you know, over the next, look, we play Charleston Southern and we play FAU. So I don't know how much we'll learn. Well, I guess we could learn something. You know, if FAU gives Clemson some kind of fit, then we really know we're in trouble. But the real test comes against a very formidable FSU team at home in Clemson in Week 4. So we'll know more then.
And given what we've seen so far, which is not a lot, but given, you know, one game so far, yeah, I would change my tune. I picked us to beat Florida State preseason, and I would probably not pick us to beat them if the game happened this weekend, right? But shit, we could turn around, find a way to beat them. We might beat them by 10 points, and then, you know, then what, right? So we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway, college football is here. It's upon us. And despite the loss, I'm still having a lot of fun on here. So,
yeah.
All right, man.
I'm trying my best.
Good talking to you, and I'll see you soon. Be safe.
All right, man. See you soon.
All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and chalk that up as a big-time W of a show today. I had a lot of fun. Thanks to all the people that came and hang out with us today. Appreciate all of you, all the people in chat. If it weren't for the chat, I mean, the show would be, well, some of you think it's bad anyway, but it would be even worse, clearly. Although tonight I will be back at 10 p.m. For the call-in show. Man, a lot of people like to type in the comment section, man. Call in. I would love to hear from you. If you want to call and tell me how terrible Clemson is, how stupid I am, whatever the case is, how, you know, whatever you think about the Tigers or your team, I would love to hear from you tonight at 10 p.m. The call-in shows during the season are A++, 11 out of 10, as far as I'm concerned. So I'll see you guys all tonight at 10 p.m. You're amazing and fantastic. Have a great Wednesday. See you soon.